This video explores when to use different integer data types. First example is the day-to-day temperature change in Celsius. So what sort of data type would this need to have? So we can think of what's the range of a day-to-day temperature. So maybe 4 or maybe even 10 degrees at most. Rather small. Or you could have even -4, -10. So we're not talking about large changes. We are talking about positive and negative changes. So we could use a char, because a char can be both positive, negative. Also, does not require a large number. Chars can't hold much. The range is -127 to 128. Let's take a look here. We could do temp change. So that could be our char temp change. And then temp change could be, let's say, -10. And then we could see out that temp change. Let's save, compile, and run. So we got a funny looking character. That's because chars are actually considered to be a character, and when we output a char value, instead of thinking in terms of decimal numbers like -10, instead the output, the cout, thinks in terms of what the ASCII character looks like. So if we wanted to see what this looks like in terms of a number, we'd actually have to use, say, an int. So we could do that. We could do temp change equals to -10, and then output temp change. Even easier way to do this is to simply change the data type. Compile, execute. There you go. It shows us -10. But a char is a perfectly valid form. Just the output's a little bit different. Okay, another possibility is the number of people in a large restaurant with a max occupancy of 200. So if your max occupancy is 200, we need to have a range that can go up to 200. But the number of people in a restaurant will never be negative. So it's always going to be either 0 or a positive number. So we could use an unsigned char for the num people. That would work just fine. Another example is the number of breaths per day when you're at rest. So the average number of breaths per day is about 34,000 when you're at rest. And the 34,000 could be stored inside of an unsigned short. So say breaths per day. We could do that in unsigned short. With the breath per day, you don't have a negative breaths per day. Again, it's 0 or a positive number, so we can make this unsigned. But the range needs to go up to at least 34K, and a short goes well. An unsigned short is well above 34K. Another example is the number of breaths per day when you're active. So maybe you're going out and hiking a lot, and in that day you may have as many as 86,000 breaths. So in that case, we'd want to be using, again, we use an unsigned, but a short is not going to be able to encapsulate 86,000. It's too large, so we need to go to the next size, which is an unsigned long. And here we'll have breaths per day, and then I'll put active to be a specifier. And in fact, I'll go back up to my previous name here, and I'll put at rest, so that we have a distinguishing feature in the identifier, which is obvious to read. Our last example here, we're looking at the number of breaths in a lifetime. So that is going to be something like 1 billion plus breaths in a lifetime. And in fact, an unsigned long can hold 1 billion. It can go up to a little over 4 billion. So we'll say breaths per day, breaths per lifetime. There you go.